Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And it's been a little while, but I'm feeling okay at the moment, so I thought I'd do some filming. Just one. I think I'm just going to do one. I'm going to film one video. I'm on some good painkillers now, so hopefully I'll be feeling a little bit better going forward. Not quite sure what's going on in terms of fixing me. If you saw my live stream, you'll know I've got a swollen kidney. It still needs some more investigation, but it's causing me some pain and uncomfortable general feelings. But I wanted to talk to you. I managed to get hold of these two samples and I really wanted to share them with you because I feel like you might be interested, because I know I was. So I've got the two new Guerlain Aqua Allegorias here, and it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I've got Flora Salvaggia and Nettare di Sole. So I'm pretty certain they're Italian names. I've gone back and looked at the names of other Aqua Allegorias. They seem to be different languages. So there's English and French. I think there's Spanish as well. But this seems to be Italian. So Flora Salvaggia, let's start with that, which is the one in the gorgeous lilac bottle there. That actually means, Salvaggia means ferocious or brutal. So flora would obviously mean floral or flower. So ferocious flower or brutal flower. Quite a fun name, but I don't think it really fits the actual scent profile. So let's get into the notes. Flora Salvaggia and also Nettare di Sole are both by the in-house master perfumer Thierry Wasser, along with Delphine Gelk, who also works for Guerlain as a perfumer. And Flora Salvaggia has notes of violet, watery notes, melon, wildflowers, solar notes. I always take solar notes to mean like a suntan lotion type scent, usually white or yellow flowers, kind of sweet-ish. Jasmine, orange blossom, violet, iris and white musk. So I have tried this on my skin, just a couple of squirts on my hand so far, so please do not take this as a full what do you call it, review. It's not a full review, it's just my little thoughts and feelings, first impressions. This was not my favourite of the two, so we'll start with that. And I wasn't expecting to like it that much, just because I was a bit nervous of the melon note. I'm generally not a fan of melon. I think it can smell a bit synthetic and watery. It's supposed to have watery notes, and a lot of people like watery notes. I tend not to so much. I don't mind like a little bit of a cucumbery note sometimes, but I'm not sure about melon. However, actually, when you first spray this, it is very much a watery melon, exactly like you would expect a watery melon to smell like. In real life, it smells quite natural. And you can smell a kind of like creamy musk underneath and a general floral bouquet. You can pick out the violet. I'm not sure. When I first tried it, I didn't really pick out the violet, but knowing it's there and then smelling it, you can definitely tell it's there. So it's musky and watery with a floral bouquet of sort of pink and purple flowers. It doesn't smell like a white flower fragrance at the moment, although we do have jasmine and orange blossom in here. It just smells like a general bouquet of different coloured flowers, but more in the pinks and the purples. It's actually really pretty. It's an unusual fruity floral aquatic, but the good news for me is that the aquatic side of things is not like a typical marine aquatic. So it doesn't smell like an issey miyake or a cool water. It's more of a clean watery feel. It makes me think of a still lagoon, a beautiful still clear pond with maybe some hummingbirds zipping around and butterflies somewhere, a beautiful oasis somewhere. So I like that. Actually, it does remind me, thinking of hummingbird and also dragonfly from Zoologist. In actual fact, it's probably a bit closer to dragonfly for that watery fruity, floral, very calm, zen-like feel. Yes, I totally see this as a zen-like fragrance. If you do yoga, I probably should, I don't. If you do yoga, it's the kind of fragrance you'd wear to do yoga or meditation. Very zen-like, very smooth, musky yet watery, fruity, floral, really, really pretty. I like it more than I did when I first sprayed it, so I've got high hopes this might grow on me even more. It's slightly unusual for a mainstream fragrance, not in any kind of weird niche way, but just a little bit different to all the very cloying, sweet, kind of fruity florals that are out there. There's no sort of synthetic caramel or candy floss or toffee. There's none of that kind of stuff going on in here. There's not even any vanilla. Oh, my brain's not working, but it might be the painkillers. I think the painkillers are slightly interfering with some wires from there to there. Sorry about that. It's quite a natural feel. I mean, obviously melon is not something you can get naturally in perfumery, but in general, the whole feel of the fragrance is very calm, very natural. And I really actually quite like it. So I like it better now than I did the first time I tried it. Let's move on to the next one. So obviously my favourite then, Nettare di Sole. So that just means nectar of the sun, I believe, or it could be sun nectar, but you kind of get the picture. That's clean. And this is gorgeous. I have tried this one more than the other one, simply because I liked it so much. And I can speak on the longevity. Of course, this is only based on a couple of little sprays on my hand. It lasts really, really well for an Aqua Allegoria, which are generally eau de toilette, very light kind of fragrances. They get a bad rap for how long they last, but this one definitely went past 8 hours on my skin. I can't really talk about projection because I only really tried it on my, on my arm, but it was beautiful all the way through, start to finish. So same perfumers again, Thierry Wasser and Delphine Jelk. We've got orange blossom, bergamot, watery notes, solar notes, magnolia, jasmine, sambac, rose and honey. So we've got a few notes in common, but don't let that make you think that they're going to be quite similar. They're really different. This is really strange because I think I've put the wrong perfume in here, This is going to make you laugh. I was like, this is not what I remember. So the bottle fell out of this in my drawer, and this is Patchouli Ardent. So that is why that smells nothing like what I remember that. So I'm going to go and hunt the correct perfume. Actually, Patchouli Ardent, I may as well tell you now, smells slightly leathery, slightly peppery, slightly resiny. Yeah, it's like but it's not too heavy a leather. It's a leather, a slight, almost rubbery, but not in a bad way. Smoky, pepper, mineral notes. It's actually Patchouli Ardent. I thought I would hate that because I'm not a fan of a big patchouli note in perfume. It's actually really nice. I wouldn't wear it myself. It's a bit too lacking in sweetness for me, but I would enjoy that on someone else. It's got a really nice mineral aspect to it, very earthy and grounded, but not too heavy. Like, it's quite an attractive scent. So Patchouli Ardent, completely different to what we're talking about, but there you go, a little bonus. Okay, right, so I found it, the correct bottle now, the white bottle. This is it, promise, Nettare di Sole. Can you imagine my shock when I'm expecting this beautiful honeyed floral and I get this kind of heavy patchouli leather resin? Let's find a different spot on my skin. We're going to have to go as far away from that as possible. Actually, we'll go on. No, I'm already. No, it's all right. We can go here because that's just going to get in the way, Here we go. Right. That's better. I can smell it in the air. It's so clean. It's just so refreshing and clean and beautiful. So did I give you the notes? I think I did. Yes, I did. Right. The picture of both of these bottles really does help you to see what, or help to give you an idea of what they might smell like. It just is golden, and it really is a kind of golden scent. This one. So it starts off, you can smell the bergamot. It's quite a fresh and clean citrusy scent without being too bitter or tart. It's a kind of, it's not sweetened, but it's a sweeter side of citrus, if that makes sense. Mellow, and there's a little tiny bit of almost like the white pith on the, if you were to peel a fruit, you take the actual peel off, and then on the fruit you've got the white bits that are a bit annoying, and I myself have to pick off at least the bigger bits. It's almost like you're smelling those bits, like a slightly mellow fruity scent. It's a bit powdery as well, even though it's fresh. It's also got this kind of powdery side to it. And the honeyed florals start to come through. So there's supposed to be a honey note, and then there are floral notes: orange blossom, magnolia and jasmine. They're your floral notes. But I see it as some white, yellow, orange flowers that are producing a honeyed dew. So imagine the flower is in the morning is giving off a dew, so it's not raindrops on it, it's actually producing like almost like a honey itself, but not as thick and sweet and rich as real honey. We used to have a flower or a flowering plant growing up. My mum had this plant in the conservatory, and when it flowered, it had these tiny white flowers, and then it would produce this little sticky bead of water, and you could just touch the bead of water, get the juice on your finger, and it was this sugary syrup. It was absolutely beautiful and made, of course, completely by nature. It was gorgeous, and it reminds me of that. So think beautiful honeyed florals, but you've got like the kind of sweet headiness of orange blossom and jasmine, but then you've got that cleaner, more crisp magnolia scent. Magnolia always makes me think of a crisp white shirt. It's just something very clean about magnolia. On its own, I kind of find it a bit boring, but I think mixed with these more exciting florals, you have this gorgeous accord of beautiful honeyed florals that don't go too heady and too rich, and they don't go too clean, too crisp or too shrill. It's just that right balance. There is another a watery note listed here, and again it's not very marine at all, not to my nose anyway. It's very calm, very zen again, very clean. Just takes me to a still pond, or even maybe a bird bath, but one that's just been filled, so it's very clean. There's nothing dirty in there whatsoever, but just I'm thinking clean water and nature. It's sort of a beachy scent because you have these white florals. White florals always take me to the beach, but this to me is a beachy scent that is very classy. It doesn't have the usual coconut. And coconut to me can sometimes cheapen a fragrance. I'm talking as a snob. I'm not saying if you like a coconut in your scents, I'm not saying that you don't smell classy, but to me, I can't help my scent memory, and coconut takes me back to cheap hair products and cheap body products that I used to love as a young teenage girl. So when I smell coconut now, I can't help but think of those cheap products. So for me, coconut can cheapen a fragrance. That's just personal. Some of you may share that feeling, some of you may not. But this doesn't have any coconut. For me, that is a good thing. It's almost like it takes me to warm sand, clean dunes, just sitting in the sun, absolutely unspoiled, no footprints, just warming up in the sun. There's that kind of smooth, balmy feel. Let's see. So do I pick out the rose? When I look for it, I can see that it's in there. I think it's working with the magnolia to give it a more creamy, clean feel. And obviously the orange blossom, the jasmine, and to some extent the citruses add a more vibrant and exciting feel. I really, really like this. I can't remember how it changes on the skin, but it does really gently change for hours. It's gently, gently changing on the skin, and it's absolutely lovely. I am a big fan of this one, to the point that I think I wouldn't mind adding it to my collection. So there's a chance that I may well actually buy this, and I don't buy that many things. I'm not one of these people that does big hauls every few weeks. I'm being very careful about what I add to my collection. I don't want anything that I'm not going to use, and this is definitely on my consideration to buy list. So that's, you know, that's quite an achievement for it to bypass my snobby nose. And with it being a designer scent, if I do add anything to my collection, 9 times out of 10, I can't talk, but if I buy anything, 9 times out of 10 it's niche. So the fact that I'm looking to buy a designer fragrance and a summer freshy kind of fragrance is actually really, really rare. But I think this would be lovely for my sort of spring summer perfume wardrobe. So there you have it. Quickly go back to Flora Salvaggia. So that has developed on the skin now. How can I explain it? I don't think I'm getting the melon anymore, so that's, in a way, that's probably a good thing. Not that I minded it anyway, but it's still got a fresh watery feel, but it just doesn't feel as melony, if that makes sense. This one's definitely less sweet. The Nettare di Sole, I think it's sweeter because of the type of florals. This one obviously has the violet, the iris, the white mask. It still has sweeter florals like jasmine and orange blossom, but they feel more toned down and cooled down. I think the iris and the violet, very cooling effect on this fragrance. So if you're, let's say you're going on holiday and you take these 2 fragrances with you, then I would say the hot days wear the Flora Salvaggia to cool you down, or maybe straight out of the shower if it's still a hot evening, and then when you're ready, go for the Nettare di Sole for something a little more sexy and outgoing. But really, they could both be daytime fragrances. I probably wouldn't wear Flora Salvaggia for a nighttime fragrance myself. It's just a little too clean and cool, I think, not quite sweet enough. The Nettare di Sole is very much a day or nighttime option. Sweeter, a little bit richer, not exactly rich, but a little more sensual and warmer. So that's it then. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you very soon. Very good. But I probably burnt my food.